T, basically, right? And so that's something that I feel like is going to have to change here in this series, that now, as we jump into the draft, is this do or die situation within this tournament. Again, this is a massive prize pool that all these teams are fighting for, 900,000 USD. Everybody will get a piece of that prize pool, by the way. So even if if they're one of the first teams to get knocked out of this contention to get to the main stage, there still is a portion of that prize pool going to those teams.
Yeah. We are actually heading straight into the game. We're not gonna be dilly-dallying out of this. We start exactly a time, and it's gonna be the Yu Zhong as the first ban, as well as the Eve. For Vamos, I would not be surprised if this will be like Fanny ban coming out from E7, as it seems like Error 404 kind of prefers getting those assassins up.
Yeah, he seems to be like confident on the assassins. I know we saw a mix of this yesterday, Wolf. Like we saw a mix of utility and then the assassins popping up, even the Hayabusa after a little bit of the nerf that went through with his shadow distance. But I think they still generally work well, even if they go and opt for these utility junglers. Like it's still going to necessarily like mostly be the same impact when it comes to like the objective takes early on, rotating around the map. I think teams are still opting for, even if the box is left open, like that seems to be one of the top priorities right now. If your plan is to go ahead and rotate quickly, but also give yourself a little bit more of an easy time in taking some of those objectives. So I don't think the jungle is going to change too much, right? You're still going to see the Fredrins, the Bakshas, the Joys, the Hayabusas, the Lancelots, the YSS if it's open. That's not going to change anytime soon.
I think the priority still is the Yi Sin-Shin as well as the Lancelot. Most particularly the Lancelot, because I think most of the junglers that are meta got nerfed a little bit, or at least got touched, for lack of a better term. But yeah, Lancelot was not included in the patch changes. Not that I know, not that I can recall. And also maybe just the Heist Retribution, which is general change to junglers anyway, so I don't think that will affect much when it comes to the choices for your junglers. As predicted, we will see the Fanny ban, and between E7 and Vamos, their priority will also be the Lapu-Lapu. So I would expect Lapu-Lapu or the Yi Sin-Shin as the first pick here for E7.
They go the Yi Sin-Shin. Seems to be the case. So they'll I don't know if they'll trade, if it'll be that Vamos takes the Lapu-Lapu or not.
Lapu-Lapu,
It seems to be they could do Lapu-Lapu Baksha if they really wanted to. But there's a lot of good options too, especially for the mid lane. Still seems to be a whole lot of Kimmy. The Farsas, the Jushin is also available, so I think that might be something that E7 decides to take if they want to go with the Jushin or potentially the Farsa here in this first phase to go ahead and give over. Now, one of the main things though too is like we've seen, even with the YSS, like you can either have like a really good scaling game, snowball pretty quickly, or you can also fall behind pretty quickly. So I think these two picks are crucial for E7 to build into this YSS priority pick. You want to be able to go ahead and secure, that early rotation for him. We still see a ton of action. Obviously, in the beginning of the game, it's always in the mid, right? Where there's, they're pressuring each other to see if they can be a first blood. You see the Gatakachas pop up a lot for that reason, or, even the Cho, for example, like when we saw it, to at least have a revitalize, right? But E7 is going to go with the Uranus. Whoa, that was so fast.
Instantly picking up the Hellcurt.
Okay, this is a signature.
Yeah, a signature for sure. They play it. Zord plays it, but they can also play it in the XP lane. I believe that there was also a time where they played in the gold lane.
Yeah,
can also be played in the jungle, technically speaking. But I think the likelihood that it will be in the XP lane is the highest. Will really depend on what will be the choice here for E7 afterwards. But knowing that they have shown us the Uranus, it's most likely going to be the Uranus as their XP lane pick.
I'm excited that the Hellcurt actually came through. This was banned yesterday, right? I mean, if I recall correctly, against Team Vamos, just a random Hellcurt ban did come through. just because, yeah, most people that have been watching, over in Malaysia for a while, or it's popped up in other parts of the world as well. But I feel like that flexibility comes out through from Team Vamos, especially with the Hellcurt. But it's still, in a way, like, it's as cool as it is to get to see. It's still a risk, in that sense. Like, Hellcurt can work really well for you and be a little gimmicky, because that's kind of what he is. But even so, if he's not able to get kills or scale up, then Dark Knight Falls always does provide some form of utility for the team, and that just kind of benefits them, especially when it comes to the objective takes here. But this second phase of bans, the Hilda's going to be taken out. Then we have, let's see, I don't know if they're still going to focus on maybe some of the potential roams that E7 could come with here. Yeah, they do. They go to the Ganakacha. So they'll take out the Ganakacha. That's what I was saying. Roams with the Revitalize seem to be a crucial thing. Most team compositions, they always have that now. The roam with the Revitalize, unless like we saw the Chose yesterday, for example, that pick off potential, or the Hylos. Hylos has popped up a lot as well. And so at this point, Wolf, what are we thinking here? After this last ban comes out, what would make this composition for E7 better?
Maybe a Cho. Actually, they need some sort of catch, and not only catch, but also some way to provide the vision. Like a Cho that can roam around, gives you catch, gives you stun, but also information that you need, because there has to be someone to look for the Hellcurt later on, be it from the room or the experience. So I think the Cho would be good for E7. Before that, it's going to be Arlet that Vamos has picked up. Now E7, they're looking for this Kaja, but although Lunox and Kaja, that's a great combo. CC as well will be good for E7. I'm just kind of iffy about this Kaja, because if you catch someone and it's not the Hellcurt will be able to pop the ultimate, and all of a sudden it's difficult to follow up with your Divine Judgment. I think it would be much better if they go for the Cho. But yeah, same idea though. It's a displacement. That's a single individual pickoff, which would be guaranteed for maybe when they want to kill this Kimi or this Baksha.
Okay, so the pickoff potential's there. You don't see the Kaja too often anymore. It's still one of those things that is niche in itself for a lot of teams. You could say the same. They match the energy from the Hellcurt, man. Like they're like, all right, if you guys want to take the Hellcurt, we'll take the Kaja, which, like I said, has kind of that on-demand ability to go ahead and get a pickoff, which is great. But that's what they're going to play around, and if it's gone, there's not too much a Kaja is actually going to be able to do into the team fight. So they'll go with the Export for the last pick here for Team Vamos. This is a pretty solid lineup, though, for Team Vamos. I mean, they cover the grounds really well. They have early game threat, I would say, just with the Hellcurt alone being there. But also, you have good scaling into this game from mid game to late game. And over on the other side for E7, I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, there's some stipulations here, right? You're not going to be able to do much on level 4 or until level 4 with that Kaja. And so this early game is important for them to not get, first blooded, handed over, or, any type of bad early game. And hopefully once they hit level 4, they can play around that Kaja, play around those playmaking abilities. And then even then the YSS should have a safe time to go ahead and scale up in that jungle.
Ooh, You mentioned something about like how reliable Vamos composition will be. I'm just scared about their late game though, because they don't necessarily have the proper late game. Don't have the traditional marksman in the gold lane. What they do have is a Kimi, so at least there will be some sort of late game insurance for Vamos. But I think overall it's not as dependable. But obviously their early game is pretty good. This Hellcurt will be a problem for the entirety of the game, I would say.
Yeah.
The fact that they have chosen this Export to go up against this Uranus gives them a way to actually win in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here too, as we take a look at jumping into game 1 here. Part of it though too is like we've seen this, man. Like if there's pressure from this Hellcurt, as we're seeing already on Nanos, him alone, like even though he's a roam, you can scale up really quickly, and that's your damage, you know. And
Yeah.
even if they don't have that late game kind of guarantee or that insurance policy in a way, if this is one of those cases where it snowballs out of control because of this lineup, you're not even going to see the light of day of end game, right? Like the late game, if you're E7. So it's good that no one has died yet, because Zorn has been on the hunt. He might find Speedy here, but he is a Uranus, so he's going to be fine. But you know, that's the thing they got to watch out for. And E7's doing a great job. This is what I was saying. Until that level 4 is available for Rise Crim, then just take your time. You know, don't do anything too crazy. You don't have to. Mid lane, once again, still the focus here. Aizen under half health, but he'll get out. Still has time to go ahead and reset before this Turtles comes up.
Oh. It's going to be a pretty standard early game for both teams. It's good enough for E7 to not have anyone die on their side. If they secure this scrap, it will be great. Yep, that's the XP crop going in favor of E7. So yeah, this will be a super duper even draft, even turtle, I mean. However, if the Baksha is able to control this much faster, this will be easily bad for E7.
Yeah, look at that. No contest. Again, nothing's really going to happen until level 4 comes online. Oh, Rise Crim, though. He gets petrified up there, but he still survives. He burned the flicker. But Aizen actually getting focused down. He gets killed in his side of the jungle. So a little miscomm there. Nanos trying to run away. Sizka doesn't have that final slash, but they'll come in cleaning it up anyway as Nanos falls. 2 on the board for Team Vamos.
It's going to be a great rotation coming up from Error 404. I wonder how he knew that there will be an opening for him to take out Aizen. Maybe because he's found another opening in the mid lane. It'll be an exchange for Aizen, but Aizen has to back out. Good Dark Knight Falls, and now he's being punished. Has to get out of there. And Team Vamos are, I would say, just outmaneuvering E7 this time. They were able to identify that Aizen is a good target. They pick him off. They get a kill up top. And right now, in a snap, they're leading by 1,000 gold.
This is exactly what I was talking about, Wolf. You know, they don't want to give this early game to Team Vamos. In a matter of, a minute and a half or so, it already went to them. Yeah. And that's something that they're going to have to kind of adjust from, because, you're going to see this build. I'm really interested to see what Zorn decides to go ahead and go for. I know he's already got the Fury Hammer. Look at the burst on Rise Crim 2. A final slash going to be used. Alpha popping the Vengeance, able to pay back someone as Sizka falls. So at least something, an exchange, the 1-for-1 Rise Crim for Sizka. But still, they got to be able to go ahead and control what's happening here. This next objective that comes up, I don't know if E7 is actually going to be in a fighting position. The only way I see them taking that turtle is if they either have the numbers advantage before it happens, or they actually play around that Divine Judgment. We'll see if that ends up happening.
For E7, I think oh my goodness, that was really bad from Aizen. Really bad from Aizen, or really good from both Zorn as well as this Baksha. It seems like Error 404 knew exactly where Aizen wants to be.
Yeah. This is that information that's just being given over here. Zorn jumps in. Whoa. Stingers went the opposite way. He's going to get pulled by the Divine Judgment. Pops the Dark Knight Falls. Helps the team out a little bit here. It's only Rise Crim that goes down. Speedy has to flicker out. Some battle spells expended off of that. So at least, again, E7 playing into what they can, and that's just a kill. Speedy's got to be careful here, though, too. Aizen is falling further behind Speedy. Tries to get away. Not Speedy enough. If he falls under the turret, and another kill picked up as Alpha goes down on this side of the map, right in the mid lane. All this pressure from Team Vamos.
Oh, no. The chain reaction for E7, making some mistakes and then eventually even more as they were taken out by Team Vamos. The strength of Zorn on this Hellcurt is that even if he gets jumped on, like we said, that's why I didn't feel like the Kaja is a good answer here against Team Vamos, because even when Zorn or anyone from Team Vamos gets pulled by the Divine Judgment, the Dark Knight Falls is a great parting shot. Zorn eventually died in that exchange, but he was able to get the Dark Knight Falls off. This could be good for them if they take out 404, but no, Aizen goes down first.
Oh, Aizen goes down. That was a forced response, a huge final slash, a double kill already, looking for a triple, but it's Zorn that comes to pick up a Rise Crim. And that's just how much of a gap there is between the junglers right now, man. And how confident Zorn is on this Hellcurt. You can see how he's handling Speedy right now, but no, that's the thing. Error 404 is literally 404, by the way. His KDA is him. That's how confident he is in just taking everything from Aizen.
There was that time where he almost got picked up. There were 4 members of E7, but it wasn't enough against this Baksha that is so rich right now. Has the Radiant armor. Of course, on top of the ultimate, you are very tanky as the Baksha. Even when they had the Lunox, E7 couldn't take out this Baksha in time, as Team Vamos was able to respond and turn it around. Up top, though, oh, what a final slash!
Oh my goodness, Siska. Almost making something happen. Here comes the Team Vamos, making its way up top. They'll find Rise Crim. Good thing you had Nanos get out of there just in time. Zorn actually dies going for it. The turret falls, and they're going to go for Alpha. He pops. Okay, he's actually able to survive too. Aizen, though, dies by himself against Natko. Is that what happened in the mid lane? Aizen, I feel like, is just... his position in this game is just off. He's died multiple times, a lot of times solo.
0 and 4, all solo kills, so solo deaths. Jimmy, Team Vamos are collecting kills all over the map. We're able to shut down as well the Ice Cream. Could have been really good for E7, but they're not getting anything out of it, because what happens is that if they make a play from the left side of the map, the middle side of the map, they are getting killed. And E7 are not getting clean pickups against Team Vamos despite them having this Kaja. Because that should be the case, right? If you commit the Divine Judgment, you have to be sure that there will be no trade-off from your opponents. But instead, Aizen gets picked apart, gets picked off, in the mid lane. And the entirety of E7 is getting picked apart right now.
Even that damage from Zorn, enough to bring Speedy to half those stingers here. They're still going to put some pressure on him. And Last Insanity is going to be used too. Speedy could be in trouble, has to burn the Flicker just to make sure that he survives against that Last Insanity. So still, it's Team Vamos just getting these resources out. Arrow 4-4 has no care in the world. He can just stay on this side of the jungle if he wants to of E7. He's tanky enough, he's solid enough on this Baksha that he doesn't really have to worry about anything, and just lets kind of Zorn go havoc here. Let's take a look at the items on how things are falling into place, Wolf.
Yeah. DHS only the DHS and the Fury Hammer for the Hellcurt is already enough for them to take him out, and the Dominance Ice from the Kaja, it's not going to be enough for sure. But when it comes to like the Baksha, as a lot of the important casual items, the Molten Essence, the Dreadnought Armor, it's going to be enough, especially with the Radiant Armor on top of it. He is very tanky right now. Team Vamos, they only are leading by 4,000, but you're already feeling that it's like a massive, massive lead that they have built.
Yeah, oof. Again, a Flicker going to be used. They're going to fight under the turret. Last Insanity able to find multiple targets. And here comes Zorn on the back end. Getting a Flicker out. They're going to clean up. Rise Crim still low, trying to get away. Zorn sees the kill in sight. They go all the way to the base turret, and they'll clean them up. It's a mega kill. It's a wipeout for Team Vamos, playing into the base of E7. And just like that, they'll go and get more turrets down. The Lord is up. A massive win for Team Vamos.
Oh my goodness. They even collected a lot of farm to go with that. They haven't started the Lord yet, but now they will. That's Team Vamos. That's probably one of the cleanest dives I've ever seen. Like, nobody died on their side. Typically, when you go for a reckless dive like that at 9 minutes, you get punished. But Team Vamos are just too clean with it. Nobody get tagged. Nobody got killed. They even had the Lord on their side. Right now, Zorn will have the Heaven's Halberd, which is going to be good versus the sustain of E7. But overall, just a straight up good item to have, because it has the second highest damage when it comes to like attack weapons. And now he will have 2 DHS as well as the Halberd.
There's the pull of the Divine Judgment. Speedy's going to get caught here. Bit of a stun. Nice final slash able to find 2, forcing out that Brilliance. They still got to deal with this Lord. They do maintain that shield, though, in the mid lane, so it should clear this out. The charge still comes through by the Lord. A little bit of damage on that base turret. But right now, they'll continue to take what they want. Flicker going to be used. Initiation here, still trying to hold on. They hold on to that top shield still right now for E7. It goes down now, and they'll make their way for that bottom one. Team Vamos, with this kind of lead, 8,000 gold ahead. They're kind of just taking what they want.
Fortunately for E7, there's no actual marksman to hit the turrets for Team Vamos. It will take another team wipe for Team Vamos, or maybe a 4-man wipe against E7. The thing is, they really need to take out the heroes of E7 before they are able to push. That's the only disadvantage of what Team Vamos has right now, but we'll see how they can adjust with it. Dark Knight Falls already used.
Dark Knight Fall is used. Final Slash on Speedy. Yeah, I don't think Zorn takes that, even though he sees that low HP bar in sight. He maintains discipline on this Hellcurt, man. So nothing just yet. They might still try to get this base turret with this wave pushing into that mid lane. Zorn's going to make his way up top, but Final Slash is going to be used. They're going to fight under the turret anyway. Speedy's going to be gone. Aizen still alive, but barely. Now Nanos trying to keep them up here towards that base turret. Rise Cream now joining the fight alongside Alpha. And they want to maintain what they can. Siska's actually going to fall. And Zorn will run a Traction Pulse thrown out and 1 HP on that base turret up top for E7. And it just seems like Team Vamos is willing to take these risks, man. You know they have this lead. They'll take what they can.
They're using their lead against E7 in a very aggressive manner. In fact, they have not stopped making the plays. Right now, they will pause for a little bit as Sisga was taken out. And they don't have the Lord on their side, but it will be respawning soon. That's about more than a minute of utter dominance coming from Team Vamos. They did not stop playing on the side of the field of E7.
Oh. What's going to happen here? They're going to actually be able to cut them off. They split them up. Aizen deleted. Still chasing Rise Cream up the top too, just kind of delaying him from getting out. Speedy now and Nanos trying to do what they can. A Last Insanity is going to be used. Siska's joining the fight. Doesn't have a flicker, but he's got the Final Slash. He might be able to jump in, cause something, and it gets the stun with the Vengeance. And now Final Slash is going to whiff, though. It's going to miss. That cannon minion's going to go down, but they still have the waves pushing in on all fronts with just 2 members of E7 left alive. The base is going to be worked on. They're trying to go for Speedy, but he heals back up. They got to clear out these minions, but it might be just too much as Team Vamos will overload E7 and take game 1 in this best of 3.
One-sided for Team Vamos. They all started with their Hellcurt rotations, and they did not stop from there. I think the only pause that they did was when Sisga was taken out, but it just lasted more for only maybe 30 seconds. For the entirety of the game, Team Vamos are applying pressure against their opponents, making plays after plays, finding and catching Aizen many times this game solo. And if ever we saw E7 make a play, they will go for the exchange afterwards. There's just no breathing room for E7 the entirety of this game, and that allowed Team Vamos to cleanly take game number 1. This is the elimination match, and Error 404 might not have the best game or set of games yesterday, but today he is instrumental to the wins of Team Vamos. 5-0 and 11 as the KDA, and a total of 8K when it comes to his gold. Error 404 have found a lot of solo kills and actually started the run of Team Vamos when he was able to take out the Yisen Shin in the Yisen Shin's jungle. That's how strong he was. I think that he definitely have read through what Aizen was trying to do, and ever since then, Aizen just couldn't recover.
Yeah, the boxer was so good, man. And you know, you get a couple kills on it. You know, he's super confident with it.